to so interrelate his attributes that he accomplishes his predetermined purposes by the best means possible. In Romans chapter 11, verse 33 to 36, we read, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments and unfathomable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who became his counselor? Or who has first given to him that it might be paid back to him again? For from him and through him and to him are all things, to him be the glory forever. Amen." He says in verse 33 that the riches of God are unsearchable, his judgments are unfathomable. You can't Google it. Our lives are filled with decisions. Our problem with our decisions is our limited scope of sight and knowledge. We can only know what we know, and we only can see what we see. We don't know what might happen tomorrow, and we don't know all the details even of what happened yesterday. One of the greatest needs in life is the need for wisdom. Romans 16:27 says that he is the only wise God. And I love what Daniel chapter 2 says about the wisdom of God. Daniel chapter 2. I want to read that passage because it highlights this concept of wisdom. Daniel chapter 2, beginning with verse 19. Says, "Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel said, 'Let the name of God be blessed forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. It is he who changes the times and the epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to wise men and knowledge to men of understanding. It is he who reveals the profound and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and power. Even now you have made known to me what we requested of you, for you have made known to us the king's manner.'" Here you see all the time he uses wisdom because of how wise he believes God to be. He goes to God for God to reveal to him what he needs to know for the decisions he needs to make. The great condemnation of the Bible is when we lean to our own understanding. When we try to figure our decisions out independently of God. When we choose our wisdom over his wisdom. One of the leading passages on God's wisdom is Job 28. Job chapter 28. It goes all the way down to verse 28, but let me just read a few of these verses. Verse 12 says, "But where can wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, nor is it found in the land of the living." Okay, did you see that? Wisdom is not found in the land of the living. You don't get wise just because you're being born. Now let's go up to verse 20. "Where then does wisdom come from? And where is the place of understanding? Thus it is hidden from the eyes of all living and concealed from the birds of the sky. Abaddon and Death say, with our ears we have heard a report of it. We know it exists." Verse 23 is the key. "God understands its way." He knows where wisdom is located. "And he knows its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. when he imparted weight to the wind and meted out the waters of measure, when he set a limit for the rain and a course for the thunderbolt. Then he saw it and declared it. He established it and also searched it out. And to man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding. He said, taking God seriously opens you up to the door of wisdom. Taking God seriously, the fear of God, is the beginning of wisdom, will open you up to another world of decision making. Your world will open up like it's never opened up before, because God can now feel free to depart his wisdom to our lack of wisdom. I'm sure many of us would say, if we knew then what we know now, I wouldn't have done that then. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I would have gone a different direction. I would have taken a different job. I would have moved to a different location. I certainly would have married a different person. I mean, if we would have had wisdom back then, but our limitations of knowledge, our emotions, our short-sightedness, our myopia, it hinders being made the best possible decision. The benefit of talking to a wise person is that you get the insight of their experience and their knowledge. Because age has given them certain experiences and knowledge. A child doesn't have the sufficient wisdom of their parents because they haven't lived long enough, experienced long enough. So if you can go to a human being to learn wisdom, and they're flawed too, why not get it from the person who can never give false data or insufficient information? When you see people play chess or even checkers, to be able to know what the other person is doing, what they might do, what they could do, and outthinking them, and you can't be God at checkers or chess. His knowledge base, his wisdom, his ability to interrelate things. That's why Romans 8:28 is so powerful. All things work together. He's interconnecting things and people and times and circumstances because of his wisdom. But because we don't see everything he sees, it will demand faith to walk in wisdom. Because we don't see it. We only see what we see. We only know what we know. This is why this passage in James chapter 3 is so important, related to the subject of wisdom. James chapter 3. James lays it out for us very simply. Verse 13, who among you is wise and understanding? Let him show by his good behavior and his deeds in the gentleness of wisdom. So if you think you're all that in a bag of chips, if you think you're wise in your own sight, I'm a wise person, he says, don't just talk it, show it. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your heart, do not be arrogant and so lie against the truth. This wisdom is not that which comes from above, from God, but is earthly, natural, and demonic. Please notice something. He says that wisdom that doesn't come from God, that is above, has three things. It's earthly. It's only tied to the five senses. It's natural. It would be the natural thing to do. And it's also demonic. So if you hear you're a natural man, you're a demonic man. In other words, if you and I are only operating on the earthly, on the five senses, what we can see, touch, taste, smell, hear, if we're only operating on the five senses, then demons have access to you because you are not getting information from above. So many people, unknown to them, are being influenced by demons, thinking that they're making an earthly decision, when actually they're making a demon-influenced decision. because it did not come from above. And that's deep. He says, and what you'll know about earthly wisdom, the demonic, earthly, natural wisdom, is that it produces conflict, verse 14. Bitter jealousy, selfish ambition. You know, it produces inner conflict and external conflict because wisdom is absent. Conversely, but the wisdom from above, verse 17, is first pure, peaceable, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy, good fruits, unwavering, without hypocrisy, and the seed whose fruit is righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. So the wisdom from below will keep you in conflict. The wisdom from above will let you operate in peace. Far too many of us want to throw in the towel before we've thrown up the prayers.
Dr. Tony Evans says Christians have a habit of underusing or overlooking our most valuable spiritual resource.
Grace is available, but only at the throne, and you can only approach the throne through prayer.
You can deepen your connection with the Lord through our in-depth course on Kingdom Prayer at the Tony Evans Training Center. You'll discover how God has wired the world to work by prayer and experience for yourself how it connects heaven with earth and time with eternity. You'll not only gain a new understanding and appreciation for prayer, you'll actually pray in transforming ways you've never experienced before. The course is intense, but you can work through it at your own pace and get all the help you need through our online forum. And, of course, there's custom content from Tony not available anywhere else. Connect with the Tony Evans Training Center at tonyevans.org. It's like having a seminary on your smartphone or other device. Start today. tonyevans.org.
One of the great ways that God confirms our decision-making, our choices, is the peace he gives. Proverbs 21, verse 30. There is no wisdom and no understanding and no counsel against the Lord. In other words, no matter how brilliant you are, you will not outthink God. The Bible has a whole book on wisdom. It's the book of Proverbs. It's worth just looking at that book because it's designed to give you wisdom. It'll show you where you've not been wise. And it deals with all kinds of subjects: friendships, money, sex, marriage, friends. It got all these subjects spread throughout the book about the wise way to approach a situation. It talks about getting rich quick, play the lottery. It's got all these subjects that it goes back to, because it's a father talking to his son. You see, he said, my son, my son, my son. About the wise way. Because in wisdom, God interrelates his attributes. He interconnects things. That's why you saw in some of the verses his wisdom is connected with his power.